Well, ladies and gentlemen, I will start my presentation. So I am Captain Sylvain Mathieu, and I am from the French Army. I'm a squadron leader on the NH-90, most beautiful helicopters in our army. I did 4 tours in Sahel, in Africa, mostly in Niger, Mali and Burkina Faso. I have over 800 hours on this helicopter and half of them in mission. So the aims of this presentation is to share you the feedback, how the French Army uses its helicopters right now to fight in Sahel, and give you the outlook of how we train and what we need to succeed in the future. So I won't spoil the messages that will be given by the General commanding the Army Aviation this afternoon. But firstly, I would like to show you a little video of 2 minutes. Well, this is for the introduction of my presentation. So this will be divided into 3 parts. Firstly, I will speak a little bit about how the helicopters are the game changer in the combat for counter-insurrection in Mali, especially. And then we will move on the focus on teaming up in the maneuver with the ground forces, but also with the Air Force, the Navy, and the joint operations. And I will end this presentation with small insights for tomorrow. So let's move on with the beginning. So as you understood, our area of operation is really huge. So you can see the distances. It's just as if we were operating throughout the whole Europe, from the tip of France to western Ukraine, for example. Obviously, this is, as you saw in the video, a very harsh environment, which has an impact on visibility for landing. So we often encounter brownout condition with the cloud of dust. And also there is an impact on the mechanical parts, because there is an acceleration of fatigue process in all the different rotating parts, especially with high temperature and abrasion. As you saw also, there's most of our actions are in dark nights conditions, very dark nights, which is for us level 5, which is without any moonlight, without any residual light from the stars. And this is really challenging, because we need to be able to still spot the enemy and also see the friendly forces, obviously. And you add to this the ability to land in brownout condition during dark nights. And this is only possible because of the new technologies that are available on the Tigers and especially on the NH90s. So as you can understand, this is a true image from a deployment I did a few years ago. It was near Ambory. We are able to deploy with a very, very limited facilities. So we just find a little area, and then we land, we adapt ourselves, and we deploy, and we make the operation. This is only possible because we have very reliable aircraft, and we push forward the limits of our capabilities while remaining very confident on our assets. And this is a key word, I think. I can testify this, we are very confident. And this is very important because even if we have an engine failure, such as this one, which is a real one, we were able to land safely. And finally, we didn't have any fear during all this failure. The only fear was once the rotor was stopped, and then we were facing the enemy. Of course, the key in this type of combat operations is surprise the enemy. So this means being able to move really fast to avoid the risk of being hit by small arms fire. And we are trying to make ourselves as unpredictable as possible. So how we do this? The helicopters here in our army are the key link of what we call the Aerocombat. There is no such translation, but it's the mix of air and ground operation in order to mix the effects so that we can combine movement, firepower, reconnaissance, intelligence, and we do this in order to fulfill our mission. So the combined arms operation makes us able to operate in different scale. So we are able to deploy in small formations, such as 2 or 3 helicopters, but also with larger battle groups as an aviation company, or inserted with the infantry and cavalry. As a result, there is no safe haven for the terrorist armed groups because as we are unpredictable, we can deploy anywhere, anytime, nighttime. They can't understand when we will come to seek for them and then try to capture them or neutralize eventually. And while the Tiger, as the attack helicopter, is able to deliver various ammunitions, among which the Hellfire, for example, the NH90 is the utility helicopters that can operate in many different kinds of configuration, from clean hold to more tactical transport troops. We can do air movement, air assault, medevac, electromagnetic detection, and so on. So we have quite a wide array of possibilities thanks to the different technologies we have on our helicopters. So this moves on my second part of this presentation, teaming up in the maneuver. So what is really important to understand, as you can see on my outfit, I'm from the French Army, so I'm not from the Air Force. We share the same DNA, and it's very important. We share the same DNA, we are part of the same army. So the helicopters act alongside with the other branches, such as infantry, cavalry, and so on. The idea is that we are their eyes very often, sometimes their ears, and we are always ready to be able to provide fire support or medevac, so life-saving mean, which is quite really important. The main scheme of our action, as I told earlier, is to reach a remote place, confirm the presence and the nature of the enemy, and then deny any movement, and then capture, at least, or neutralize. I will share you a little fact that I think you don't know, is that the armed groups, when they hear us arriving, when they hear the helicopters, they call us the wind. This is the code word, and once there is a terrorist who says the wind, everyone stops speaking. And I think it's quite interesting because it shows that the way they perceive us as something elusive, powerful, and unpredictable. And that's what we are, really. What I would like to point out, thanks to my 4 deployments, is that there is a flawless cooperation with our allies, such as the Chinook, as you can see on this slide. And the British detachment is embedded with our battle group, and they mostly deliver logistics support, but some occasions they might also act alongside us. We also have the honor to share some experience with the detachment of Danish Merlins that were embedded also with the French aviation battle groups. And occasionally we are performing some joint actions with the Air Force fighters and the drones, and also Navy intelligence assets, such as the Atlantic II. So we combine every kind of assets, every kind of sensors to fulfill our missions. So this means we are able to work inside the army, but also outside the army in joint and multinational cooperation. So this is the Merlin. We also work with the Germans, with the Swedes, with the Italians, because you know there were a Takuba, a force deployed in Mali, in Menaka especially. We share the same spirit and the same fighting spirit, and this is what makes sense in this type of operation in over such a scale area of operation. Of course, we team up also with our mechanics, and that's really important because we can't do anything without them. The excellent availability is to understand in the light of the extreme conditions we face with the sound, the abrasion, the temperature. There is also another important point is that between the main base and the forward combat maintenance, some actions, such as the one you saw with the many aircraft in Ambori, require that we move with our mechanics, small teams of combat maintenance team, I will say. That can be seen as a weakness, but it increases the pressure on the rear. But on the same time, it's really efficient, and we get a full availability when we need them. So when we know there is an important action, an important enemy, we make everything possible, including deploying our mechanics with us. And also, I think it's quite important to point out that it's not because we have last generation aircraft that we don't provide infinite care to them. So we are not some golden boys with a beautiful toy. It's really important for us to take care of our aircraft. So let's move on the third part of this short presentation of tomorrow. What are the insights for the counter-insurrection and maybe for other type of conflicts? I had the honor to be deployed with cavalry, so I was inside this army fighting vehicle. And so we deployed the Scorpion system that you will see on this Eurosatory. So the system of command and control is being tested with quite encouraging results, such as the Blue Force tracking, sharing position with other units. And this allows us to get an enhanced situation awareness. And it's really useful when, because sometimes we deploy from a base which is quite far from the action. We don't have all the information, and we try to gather the latest information without even having to chat on the radio. And it's really useful for us. So communication, especially in secured channels, are a major topic among the armed forces. And it's something that is being deployed and tested with the future contact radio set that will be equipping our aircraft in the future. So that also means we need secure data sharing, and we will need more and more data sharing assets and channels. So we need to keep the advantage, obviously. So you will see on the different stands, such as the Tiger Mark III. We work in synergy with the industry and the French DGA to develop future capabilities. I was part of a developing program that allowed to make a focus on the next generation camera to flight in night conditions, and you can see it on the standard 2 Cayman. The Tiger will be able to have an enhanced mission managing system, including the first steps towards the man-unmanned teaming, and this will be further developed by the general commanding the Army Aviation this afternoon. Also, it's important to notice the future tactical air-to-surface missile that will be equipping the Tiger Mark III. And on the Cayman, as I was mentioning earlier, we have the same top-L system. So this is a digital display that is showing us the latest informations. It's linked to the helicopter so that we are able to see outside and get information from the inside without having to look inside the aircraft. And this, we also get some improvements such as the Euroflare, which will be also equipping the drone patroller in the French Army and the H-160. So this concludes my presentation. I would like just to make a few words as a conclusion. I think the accumulated experience of our crews over the last decades helped sharing the major upgrades in our combat systems. We value this unparalleled knowledge to fulfill our missions and gain significant results, especially in Mali. And so thanks to this excellent synergy between the military and industrial network, I think we have the ingredient to further modernize our army. So as we train for all types of conflicts, and not only counterinsurrection in Mali, I identify 3 crucial needs for now, which is positioning, navigation, and timing, which is endurance, and which is also secure networks. So this concludes my presentation, and I'm ready to answer your question. Thank you very much. Feel free, don't be shy. And obviously I can speak French.